The goal here is not to demonize the police. We simply intend to show a complete and total lack of organizational control, a refusal to comply with their own crowd control policies, and an unwillingness to comply with the American policing standards. We'll review some of OPD's own use of force policy. It is essential to recognize that all members of a crowd and demonstrators are not the same. Even when some members of a crowd engage in violence or destruction of property, other members of the crowd are not participating in those tactics. Chemical agents can produce serious injuries or even death. The elderly persons or infant in the crowd or the individual with asthma or other breathing disorder may have fatal reaction to chemical agents, even when those chemical agents are used in accordance with the manufacturer's recommendations and the department's training. Hand-thrown chemical agents or pyrotechnic gas dispersal devices shall be used only if other techniques such as encirclement and mass arrest or police formations have failed or will not accomplish the policing goal as determined by the incident commander. The use of hand-thrown chemical agents or pyrotechnic gas dispersal devices may present a risk of permanent loss of hearing or serious bodily injury from shrapnel. Said devices shall be deployed to explode at a safe distance from the crowd to minimize the risk of personal injury. The following videos you're going to see, the first is ground level explosions happening at the during October 25th. Then you will see an elevated video from October 25th from a helicopter, and finally you will see the Scott Olson incident where individuals rush in attempting to rescue him, and a police officer nonchalantly throws a flashbang in the middle of this crowd. So 3 videos in quick succession.
And then even before the minutes passed, they just started shooting off. And then after even the fact that everybody left, they kept shooting.
All of that again was in response to a few thrown projectiles and bottles, and totally disproportionate use of force, and totally against OPD's own crowd control policies. After these incidents, then Interim Chief Jordan held a press conference and immediately afterward and said that tear gas was used because his officers were forced to defend themselves. Later, the OPD Chief of Staff would retract this claim, saying that this was based on Jordan's preliminary belief. Another incident when then Interim Chief Jordan received an update that crime was actually down 19% in the last week of October. He wrote an email to one of Mayor Gene Kwan's advisors. I'm not sure how you want to share this good news, he wrote. It may be counter to our statement that the Occupy movement is negatively impacting crime in Oakland. This next set of slides are filled with facts from OPD's own dispatch records obtained via public record. This is the Travelers Aid Building on November 2nd. A small group of occupiers had autonomously gone over and taken over this empty space. OPD dispatch at 11:25 p.m. suggested that intelligence states music, dancing, waving flags around, no disturbance, just a party. Less than 20 minutes later comes the 11:44 p.m. dispatch. Need a saturated effort. Need to flood the streets with police. In Santa Cruz, a similar incident, 75 occupiers took over a building. Santa Cruz Police Department waited them out and ended the situation with no violence. OPD unfortunately chose to turn what was described as a non-disturbance into basically a war zone, all in the span of about 30 minutes.